Hi, everyone, and welcome to Rising Stories Podcast. I'm Corrine Sandifer, your host. I am thrilled that you are here. And have you ever wondered what a business owner does all day? Have you been curious as to how someone has the time to write a book? A whole book? Well, each week I interview a business owner or author, and we casually chat about all things business or about how they became authors. These women share their stories with me, and it's my hope that you will be encouraged. I hope that you will be so encouraged that you rise up and live strongly in your own story. So please spread the word and tell others about this podcast. If you get a minute, please head over to iTunes and leave me a comment and tell me how much you like the show. This helps others find Rising Stories podcast. Today on the show, I have Michelle Chalfant. She is a licensed therapist who uses a unique model in her work to help you live an authentic and empowered life. This model is called the adult chair. Also, you might have seen a few of her meditation videos on Facebook. Michelle is also a fellow podcaster and writer, and so we talk about how she runs her business and how she herself lives an authentic life. Here's my conversation with Michelle. Good. I love how we met because our kids play soccer together. And
Yes.
I don't know how I found out that maybe you gave me your card or something. I don't know how I found out that you also do a podcast. And I thought, what are the odds? Both our kids play soccer. We're two moms in the same little town outside of Nashville. And we both podcast. It was so fun to find that out.
I agree. It was so much fun. I know it's very ironic.
Yeah.
Two Brentwood mommies doing podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, we have to collaborate. It has to. So here's the first of our collaboration. You're coming on my show. So I'm super excited. So thanks so much for agreeing to come on since you are a busy podcaster and tell me who you are. Tell me what you do. You're a therapist. You're a speaker. What else?
Oh my gosh. I do a lot. You're right. I'm a therapist and a life coach. And so I have a private practice. I also have a very active website. And on the website, I have, of course, the blog and I have the podcast. I do a lot of videos and meditations and YouTube and a book and another book coming.
Wow.
It's a lot. So I've got the fan page on the Facebook, and I just started now a closed Facebook group. I'm also doing weekend intensives this year. I'm going to be traveling around the country and possibly even heading to Australia to do a weekend intensive. So I've got 4 going on the calendar this year, and all of my work, everything I do, whether it be in sessions or on Facebook or the blog or meditations, they're all based around this model that is called the adult chair.
Mm-hmm.
And this model, basically, it helps people to get unstuck, to break dysfunctional patterns, and to really live in the highest version of ourselves, to live in the healthiest version of ourselves. And most importantly, this is the part I love, is it helps us to learn how to love ourselves, which I find so many of us have such a hard time with that.
True.
I, in fact, spent most of my life searching for ways on how do we love ourselves. You know, we hear it all the time. People will tell us, well, you're just having that happen because you don't love yourself. You need to love yourself. So go and love yourself. Well, it's like, well, how?
What does that look like? Yeah.
Yeah. My own story is that of some depression for sure in high school and anxiety, and moving through college. Same kind of thing. And I remember, I think it was in between my, sophomore and junior year of college, maybe. I came home from college and I said, on the outside, I looked normal. If you knew me, you would have never guessed. But on the inside, I just had a lot of really mean, negative, ruminating thoughts. And I slept a lot. And again, a lot of anxiety and just kind of sad. And I didn't even know why. And I realized those thoughts were making me so sad. I just did not like who I was. So a very long story short, I remember I'd gone to like a psychiatrist. I think it was when I was around 20 something, 21.
Mm-hmm.
And they, oh yeah, so the psychiatrist went and said, yes, you are depressed. Here's some Prozac. And he gave me like a sample of 5 days of Prozac
Oh, wow.
and with a prescription. And I remember thinking, I just really want to talk to somebody. And way back then, Corrine, there were not, number one, there was no internet. We did
Right.
not have,
No.
that was not around. And therapy, and especially, I know in my family, that was something I remember growing up. I heard, you don't air your dirty laundry to other people.
Yeah.
So I felt kind of like trapped, like, well, what am I supposed to do? And I was anti-medication. I didn't want to put that in my body,
Mm-hmm.
but I was at a loss. I'm like, well, I don't know what else to do.
Well,
But it never,
did it help you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, but it didn't feel right. It didn't feel
Mm-hmm.
right. And I remember it feeling very yucky with with a psychiatrist. And I took 2 days of it, and I had such bad headaches. I don't do well with medications. Even I don't have a good tolerance, so I don't do well with that kind of stuff. I even have to be careful of Advil.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't hit me well in my body. So I went off of that, and then that was really when my journey began. I really just think I need to love myself, because the way I talk to myself and the way I beat up on myself, it isn't really nice. So that started my journey, and I got a master's in counseling and did so much on the side. I read a lot of books, everything I could get my hands on, and I think I've been certified in just about every technique, and
Wow.
I had
That's great.
tons of so many certifications, because I kept thinking maybe this is it. Maybe
Like certain
this
keys.
is,
Yeah.
like maybe this is the technique that will help me love myself. So I learned a new technique.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'm also a master hypnotherapist. Like
Oh,
when I
wow.
tell you, I've tried everything. I mean, all kinds of certifications, and all of them I benefited from a little bit. And I'm thrilled to have them now, because they're part of my tool basket.
Mm-hmm.
So the adult chair, so all these years passed, and with the adult chair, actually the term came from a woman that I worked with here in Nashville. What happened was, so I learned all this throughout, from my 20s to really age 40, moved here when I was 40 in Nashville, and met a woman, Susan Crumpton, over at the estuary, who I went to see her sort of as a mentor and a therapist, and she advised me to join this. It's like a intensive personal study with 10 other people. Really, you just sit and do a lot of intense personal work. And what I realized was, and I was like, I don't want to. I already know all this stuff. Well, what I realized was I knew it mentally, but it needed to be integrated. So I spent 4 years in this group, and now I'm 49, and I really feel like I have integrated, and I think it's a lifelong journey, of course. It's not like I'm at the end of the road.
Right.
I think we're at the end of the road when we hit the graveyard, but,
True. Yeah.
But what I did with her was I really was able to take everything I learned and integrate it. And what I found was I started to like myself and then love myself. And she's the one that threw out this term adult chair. And then I took that term, with her blessing, of course, and took all that I had learned and then just created this model of how do you love yourself? And it's, we break the adult chair down into 3 chairs. We have the child chair, the adolescent chair, and the adult chair. And so we go through these stages in life, and I explain it, and I started using it with my clients, and they started saying, this is changing my life. I've never learned anything like this. How do I learn more? And is there a book, which again,
you're writing.
So I had to write the book.
Yeah. Well, I think what I love about the chairs, and you and I have talked a lot about it before, and so before today, what I love about it is it's almost like, when you go to a therapist, it's like, you don't see a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
But because of what you have in your the adult chair, it's almost like a map. I mean, it's like a navigation, like this is where you are, or at least just knowing this is what you're working on right now. Because when you go in, it almost seems like, everything is just free for all. And today we're going to talk about this. Tomorrow we're going to talk about something else. The next week we're going to talk about something else. And so there's no continuity, I feel like.
Yes.
And there's
I like what you said. Like, it does provide a map. I would call it like a framework, but same thing of you actually can plug any issue you're having into the 3 chairs, one of the 3 chairs. And again, our goal is always to move over into this adult chair, which unfortunately the adult chair is living from the highest version of who we can be and the healthiest version. And unfortunately, most of us don't attain that because we're raised with dysfunctional people or wounded people. And again, even if they loved us and we love them, that's not what this is about. It's about, how did you process your emotions growing up? How did you defend? Were you vulnerable? How are your relationships? Are you able to speak up for yourself? Can you set boundaries for yourself? Most of us have difficulty with one or all of those things.
Right.
Are you codependent? Are you living with a narcissist? Are you empowered? Are you disempowered? So when we're in our adult, it's the only time we're ever in the moment. We live in fact and truth. We're empowered. We're compassionate for ourselves. We connect into our feelings and our needs. Otherwise, we don't know what they are. We're very aware in this chair. It's the seat of consciousness. In this chair, we are connected to something much bigger than who we are.
That's the adult chair.
That's the adult chair, yeah. And again, most of us don't know how to do that well. We might be in and out of it a little bit during the day. So the goal is to live there as much as you can. And the chairs provide a framework for, well, if I'm not there, I must be over here. If I'm being codependent or perfectionistic or controlling or blaming someone or living with absolutes like all and never, then I'm in the adolescent chair.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I know I'm there. Then I provide tools to help you move then over to the adult. And then we have the child chair that is the container of all the feelings and needs and spontaneity. And that's where our passion is and vulnerability and intimacy. So if we don't know what we're feeling, then we don't know what's going on in the child chair. And most people we don't know. When I ask so many people, so when your friend said that to you or your husband or your wife or whomever, how does that make you feel? Most people go, well, what do you mean? Well, I was mad. And most people say I was angry. And anger can be a defense so that we don't have to go down and feel other emotions. It's an authentic feeling, but I find at least half of the time, if not more, there's so much underneath that anger, but we're just afraid we don't know how to access it. So I teach people really how to feel their emotions and let them go through them so we're not so afraid of them. That's all the child chair. So the adult part of us, when we're sitting in this adult chair, we're able to access what I call living chin up, which is the adolescent chair, which is living from the mind and the ego, and also chin down, which is the full body, the core of us, which is the child. And that's where our feelings and our needs are. So it's this really beautiful model that has just divinely evolved. And I'm just so grateful because it's fun for me and I love it. And my clients absolutely love it. And yeah.
So when they come in, do you automatically say, okay, well, do they just start out in any chair? Like, do you tell them which chair do you want to sit in today?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are coming in actually because they've listened to the podcast, and I go over it on my podcast, and it's really fun to have people come in and they know all the vocab already.
Yeah, that's great because they've got a prerequisite.
Exactly, I'm like, wow, you get an A+, very well. So, so if a client comes in, it's really fun because I'll demo the chairs. It takes me about 5 or 10 minutes, and I have a little child chair in the office, and I have an adolescent chair, and I have the adult chair. So I stand behind each chair and go over what each chair means. And typically people are brought to tears, and they say, oh my God, I get it. Like I'm living in an adolescent chair, I blame my husband for everything, or I blame my kids, or I don't know how to not be so controlling, and you got to help me move that adult chair. So yeah, so I actually do have chairs. Of course, you can do it without chairs. You can just do it. When I work with people sometimes over the phone or on Skype, I'll have them go sit in I want to see a chair and go and pull it. I want you to sit in that chair and become who is saying, who's blaming, for example. We just use that. But so sit there and feel it. It's the adult chair is a lot about what does it feel like? What's going on inside your body? And I find we're so unaware of that. We're not connected enough into who we are. When we're connected in who we are, we know the next steps to take in our lives.
Right. Wow, you've got so much going on, and just I don't know how you keep it all in your head. I mean, like how you've got all these chairs, and then but of course you're licensed. Tell me what you're licensed in. You're a licensed therapist, right?
Yeah, I'm a LPC, so licensed professional counselor, and then holistic life coach too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you
So
use your holistic life coaching much in,
I
like,
have
does
to
it kind of come
say,
in and out?
I'm going to quote probably the majority of my clients when they leave my office. They go, I don't exactly know what this is, but it doesn't feel like therapy. And it's not, it's
Mm,
sort of a combo. It's like a combo blend.
yeah.
I'm very, very, very eclectic. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also have some training in NLP, the neuro linguistic programming. So there's so many things that happen in my sessions. They're eclectic. They're very holistic. We
Mm-hmm.
do, meditations and breath work and visualizations, guided imagery, uh,
Mm-hmm.
EFT. I do some tapping. I work with the meridian system sometimes. It's so much. It's not a typical therapy session where
Right.
the therapist is sitting and listening. And at the end of the session, the therapist is, and no slamming on therapists because I have that credential too. But it's just a lot. It's a lot more action oriented in my session.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's great because they're getting so much more for their session because you can tap into all of these other like you said, you've got your all these other tools in your tool basket. So
right,
if
right,
you see that a client needs something, you just pull that out, and you can, because you've got that training, you're like, "Oh, they need this, they need something out of this toolkit." So
right.
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
very intuitive. Like I don't ever
mhm.
have. There are no two sessions that are exactly the same.
Right.
It's very much like what hits me with each person that comes
Mhm.
in. So yeah,
That's awesome.
it's
And
fun. It's just really fun. Like I absolutely love what I do. It does not feel like work. None of it
yeah,
does.
I
But it's
bet.
very, very busy.
Yeah, tell me about your week, or tell me a typical day in the life of
Oh my
Michelle.
goodness.
What happens?
Um, well, let's see. I work 3 days a week with clients. And it's great. I'm not even taking new clients anymore because that's so busy. I'm booked out till I think the end of March now. So unfortunately, I've had to stop seeing clients or new clients. I've had
New
to cut
ones,
that.
yeah.
So that's really busy. But 2 days a week. So I've got Mondays and Thursdays, and those are my content creation day. And those are the days I have an assistant. So I work with my assistant and I work with Pete, who is the producer of my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also my web guy and he does everything. He's like, I don't even know what I call him, my consultant, I guess, for everything, marketing and everything else. So
Podcast strategist, maybe.
yes, because he also helps me with marketing and everything. But
Marketing and strategist. There you
I
go. Yeah.
really wish I'm almost feeling like I have to cut even back a little bit more on clients because I have so much going on. I need almost another day. So Mondays and
Mm-hmm.
Thursdays, I'm recording podcasts, recording videos, writing blogs, thinking about, and I'm planning. I have to do a lot of planning. Now I'm writing another book number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping to have that out by the end of this year or January 2018. Um, I'm writing the weekend intensive. I have to write that out. I have to
Yeah.
plan that. So Mondays and Thursdays, and unfortunately, even when I have clients, the other 3 days a week, what I'm finding is now, especially this last month with all that I have going on this year, I'm coming home and I'm sitting down with family, eating dinner, and then, the kids go do homework and husband is doing whatever, and I'm back in my office sometimes
Mm-hmm.
till 11, just because there's so much I have to create. I write quotes,
Yeah.
all my quotes, Facebook, and everything that goes on that fan page is really consuming.
There's a
Outside of everything
lot.
else, as you know. I mean, it's
Right. And then at some point you have to do, meal planning and grocery shopping and
exactly. That's why I
dry
can't even believe I
cleaners.
would ever say this. I'm thinking I might need a personal assistant because
Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, you need
I can't
one.
get it all done. Like
Yeah, it's a lot.
and my kids are older. If my kids were
Hmm.
younger, I would never even have that thought. But my younger son is in 10th grade, so
Hmm.
he's going to be in
One
11th grade. But
one of the things
I would
that,
consider it.
yeah, you should. Yeah, you probably do need one. Well, one of the things that I just have found different things that have helped me, and one of the a past guest mentioned that she uses the Walmart grocery pickup,
Oh my gosh,
and I love that.
I did Kroger.
You do the
The
click it or something like that.
greatest thing
Isn't
ever.
it? Like you just sit
Yes.
on your computer and like this morning I ran out of something and I immediately went to my Walmart grocery pickup list and just added it. That's what I do. Like I do that all week long and then I send it off on Sunday, typically on Sunday, and then I pick it up Monday. Mondays are my days where I get all my groceries. Sometimes Fridays I'll make a quick run, but
you just gave me a great idea because I didn't think about adding to it throughout the week.
yeah, that's what I
Like
do.
I would sit down early Sunday morning with the paper and my coupons
Mm-hmm.
and I'd blast it out. I'd kind of take that. But and so instead of putting something you're saying like on a grocery list, put it
Yeah.
in the list in the Kroger app. Oh, that's a great,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going
So
to do
I'm
that.
like, like this morning I realized I'm running out of eggs, and there's a like a fabric softener that I use, and I'm like running out of that. So I immediately went to, of course, I always have my computer around or it's
Right.
open. I know they
Right.
also have it, my Walmart, but the Walmart grocery pickup also has it on an app. So I don't have it on my phone, but I have had it in the past, and I'll put it on there. And it
I love
just
that
saves
idea.
time, and I just drive up, pick it up, and then take it home. And, it's all there. And they'll do
I
substitutes. It's really nice. Yeah.
I love it. I've been doing it with Kroger and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was like $4 or something. And I said I would pay 20 because it took me 15 minutes to put the whole grocery list in,
Right.
and then it took me less than 5 to pick it up. I'm like, this is a dream.
Yeah.
The problem that I was having was I remember over the summer and I was really busy, and my husband, as the other problem is my husband travels all the time. So it's kind of like me trying to manage the house, do all this business stuff. So I needed someone to like take the pool water to have it tested. I needed someone to go return my TJ Maxx stuff. I needed, it's those
Yeah.
little things that are so easy. And if I
But
had
they just take
nothing
time.
else going on, no big deal. But it's like I
Yeah.
would love to pay someone just to go do all that stuff because it's just really time consuming, and it's that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I
Yeah.
like that
There's,
idea. Thank you. That's a really good
yeah.
idea.
Just keep your, it does make for a longer list.
Yeah,
But, I mean, but then you don't forget anything, toothpaste, a certain kind of toothpaste, or, oh, we're out of shampoo, and, you know,
love that.
so
Thank you.
put it on the list and then
Thank you.
send it off. I send mine off on Sunday and then pick it up Monday morning. It just saves that step,
Yes,
so
I will.
it's,
I will I'm not kidding. I'm going to be doing that starting today because I would make a separate list. That doesn't. That's kind
yeah.
of dumb.
And
I
then,
like what you.
like sometimes if I'm very organized, I will have my next week's menus, like what I'm making or what I'd like to make
Mm-hmm.
on hand, and, you know,
Yeah,
just add to
I
it.
like it. Thank you.
But sure. Well,
Thank
we
you. Thank
we
you.
moms have to stick together and try to,
Yes, we do.
working podcasting moms have to stick together and try to help each other out. If I
So
hear of
true.
an assistant, I'll give you a call. I'll let you
Please
know.
do.
But
Someone that just wants to run around and just get, make some extra money, but just do
yeah.
these little things.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I need to do is someone had to go to the post office. I was like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, I can't go sit in that line at the post office.
yeah. I just
You know.
do. I mean, unless it's something, I just do the after hours where the automated one. I mean, not
Oh yeah.
automated, but the,
Again, it's just I just don't have that
yeah.
time. I'm like I don't want to take the time to do it. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
anywho,
Well, speaking of like apps, so what is your favorite app that you like? Do you have a business app that you use?
um, okay. Well, the first one that comes to my mind, which I haven't even started using. I can't even remember what it's called because I was out to lunch with a colleague and he had it. Is it I can't remember. Is it QuickBooks? Something like that.
Yeah, there's QuickBooks.
What I need help with again, it's an app. I think it's QuickBooks. It begins with a Q. Yeah, I think it's QuickBooks for the business expenses because mine it's just
Yeah.
they're all over the place. So
Mm-hmm.
I really am excited because you just take a picture of your receipt if you're out to lunch or if you buy
That's
business
nice.
supplies, and I set it up on my computer. It's very cool. It organizes it. So it goes into the right, like when I pay rent for my office every month, it goes into rent. So then at the end of the year, you hit a button and I can send it right over to
And
my
it
account. So that's really
calculates
cool.
everything. Oh, wow.
Yes. But the app that I use a lot because when I get an inspiration to write something or to record something, I have between the videos, the meditations, the podcasts, the quotes there's all these different categories that I
Right.
need content for.
Mm-hmm.
So when I have an inspiration, I've got to write it down immediately. And I've tried to like think about it later and write it down.
It
It doesn't
doesn't
happen.
happen. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So it actually, what inspired me was Taylor Swift. I think I saw her biography like on E or something years ago,
Yeah.
and she talked about how when she gets like a hit or a download on a song or like a like an inspiration for words for a new song, she used to, at least I don't know now, but would carry around this little a notebook, and she'd write. She would tell everyone to stop talking, and she'd start writing. And that's exactly what I do. I say to everybody, stop talking. But what inspired me was that she did do it in that moment, and she started to write it.
Yeah.
So I don't carry little notebooks around, but I found this app that I love, and it's called Anydo. So ANY, and then I think there's a period, and then DO. And you can organize it. It's beautiful because I have, it's really easy too. It's like a section for podcast ideas, Facebook quotes, Facebook posts.
Oh, wow.
So it's all unique. Yeah, weekend intensives or book idea. And I can sit, and a lot of times it'll come to me so fast, and I can record in it. If I'm driving, I just hit the button, I can record, and it records my voice, and it'll type it out. I love that. I love that.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. And so when I do Facebook quotes, I write all the quotes, and I write everything that goes with them. And then my assistant will help me find pictures and post it for me. So I can just forward them right to her. I don't have to retype anything.
Yeah.
So it's fabulous.
So it's just sending it off. Yep.
For sending to other people. It's fabulous. So I really love that. It's quick, and it's really easy.
Those are two very good ones.
It's got to be easy for me because I'm a non-technology person.
Oh, you are? Yeah.
I'm simple.
Yeah. I was going to ask you about your YouTube videos, because you have several. I mean, there's tons. There's a whole page of them. Do you do those yourself, like from start to finish, those YouTube videos, like with the graphics and everything? They're so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it depends on I don't know which ones you're talking about, but yeah.
I just saw the latest one.
Pete produces all of them.
Oh, that's great.
But some of the videos I've hired people just to record me. I have a new video series coming out next month where it's going to be like 1 to 2 minute little blips of me just teaching something. That'll be on that YouTube channel as well. So those will just be me, myself, and I attempting to record
things.
Record myself, which we'll see with the iPhone. So it's nothing going to be glamorous, but just tips for living in your adult chair. So
yeah,
that'll be production by Michelle Chalfant.
Production by yeah. It's all good. It's like I love, as long as I can hear and see, okay, I don't mind videos that are, kind of grainy or whatever, as long as I can hear what they're saying. Because like you said, sometimes we're like watching, but we're not watching, we're doing something else, kind of multitasking and trying to catch some of the podcasts or some of the videos that we want to watch. And so, I'm all for being real and authentic. So this is it.
Well, I'm totally in agreement. A few years ago, I used to hire people to just record me doing some simple things, and it was expensive. And I said, people nowadays like they love to watch versus listen. So videos, I think, are the way to go. But I'm not paying someone, hundreds of dollars to do a quick little video. So, and I realized, exactly like you just said, people are videoing themselves on their phones. I saw, in fact, a guy today on Facebook. I'm trying to think of his name. He had 10 million followers, and he's some kid out of Australia or United Kingdom. And he's posting things similar to what I would post, living a better life and talking about relationships and healthier, that kind of thing. 10 million. And he was recording it as he's holding up his iPhone.
Oh, wow. And people just
it wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
I think people want information. And that's what's so great about the internet is they don't care how they get it. They just want it. I know I do. I don't care what people look like. You can be in your pajamas, but if you're talking to me about something that I can, learn from, then I want to listen.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it matters anymore.
Yeah. So what 3 things are you absolutely loving? I always ask my guests what they're loving lately.
Okay. So one thing that, well, first of all, my work, obviously, I really love what I do. I love it, love it, love it. It's absolutely my passion. I think was placed on the earth to do this work and help people in this way. That's number 1. And number 2 is, I have tried yoga for years off and on. And the only type of yoga that I used to like and do at home was Kundalini yoga. And that's different. Do you know what that is?
No,
It's a
I've
psychological,
seen
it's
it.
more, it really works on the psychological level, which of course that's my passion. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of movement. It's not like typical yoga poses like hatha yoga. Um, it's different. It's a
So it's like
lot
a
of movement.
flowing movement more
No,
so
it's
than
different.
stationary.
It's different. It's for example, one of the things that you do is you put your arms, you can picture putting your arms not straight up, but like a little bit off to the side, up in the air, and you flap your hands, okay? So
Mm-hmm.
your so your wrists are moving back and forth, so you flap your hands.
Okay.
So you look like a bird
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not your arms, just your hands.
Okay.
That's one thing that you do in Kundalini yoga, and that resets your whole nervous system if you do it for 2 minutes.
Does it really?
So there's some
Wow.
phenomenal things. And I use a lot, like when I teach classes, I use a lot of what I learned from Kundalini in my classes because it does help us on the psychological level. But what I've gotten into, I've tried hatha yoga, which is what you're thinking of, like flow yoga, vinyasa yoga.
Yes.
Um, and I've tried it off and on for years and years. And for some reason, I just started doing it again about a month ago. I kept like in my meditations and when I pray, I kept hearing the word do yoga, do yoga.
Really? Wow.
Like, why? But it's interesting too. I've been having a lot of stiffness and back issues. I had a
Oh, that's
herniated disc
perfect.
years ago. So,
Mm-hmm.
my muscles seem so tight and I kept hearing do yoga, I'm like, I don't like yoga. So I got this app on my phone. This app I absolutely love. It's called Asana Rebel.
Oh, how do you spell that?
Asana and then Rebel, Rebel.
Okay.
It's a little pink app. Okay, so I said, okay, I have to learn how to stretch better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll do some of the hatha yoga. I was like, I don't like hatha yoga. Da, da, da. So so this is the app. It's 15 minutes of yoga. It's
A
easy
day.
but yet
Wow.
very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
You can also buy for $39 for the year, you have unlimited, classes that you can do, but it's one girl on one mat that you're watching. It's a video
Mm-hmm.
and she's guiding you through, so she's showing you how to do it. I do it on my phone probably no, at least 4 times a week every morning and I'm addicted.
Wow.
It's
I
so
have to check that
easy.
out.
I think it's because I feel so great when I'm done. Like my
Mm-hmm.
body has not felt this good ever. I notice I'm sitting up straighter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding in, and my core is so much stronger. And that was the other problem. My core was really weak. I had stopped working out because I had hurt my back. My back keeps
Yeah.
flaring up, so it was hard for me to lift weights. But
Mm-hmm.
you and I talked about it. I really wanted to get back
Yeah.
into working out. And I've been afraid. And I went to my physical therapist. He said, do not lift weights. I'm like, but I love
Don't.
lifting weights. He's
Yeah.
like, do not, your back. He said this to me a couple of months ago. But so I started doing this and now I really am addicted. Like I actually look forward to doing it. And there have been days where I'm like, I think I'm going to do it again. I want to do it again. So Asana Rebel, it's a wonderful. The girl on there is
I'm gonna.
great. It goes by so fast. I do it at home in the morning when I get up
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm done.
I'm gonna check that out because I
Yeah.
love doing stuff. I mean, when I go to the Y to my gym, I follow a couple of people and just to kind of get their exercises and what they do. So I love doing that. I mean, I always have my phone and music, and so that would be really easy for me to incorporate and do a 15
I,
minute add on a 15-minute
oh my
thing
gosh,
because I think
totally.
it's
Yes.
yoga is just very I mean, it's not cardio, but it has that stretching and elongating your muscles and
Yeah.
just very, and it's very healthy. And it takes toxins out of your body. I don't know how
Oh
it
my
does it, but it
gosh.
does.
It does so much. Yes, it does all of that and
Yeah.
then some. So I've known that for years. It just didn't resonate with me. It wasn't a
Hmm.
match yet. So, we're always evolving and changing. And I
Yeah.
said, must be my time because this is it. I really crave it. So, um,
So
that's
what,
the second thing. The
yeah.
third thing is that I love is just nature. I love being outside and I love to just really be outside. Like there's nothing better for me than just sitting. I love meditation and prayer. I sit. I don't do a lot of TV and I don't do a lot of radio, even in the car. I'm always in prayer, meditation, and launching out desires and thinking and gratitude. And my favorite place to do that, though, would be in nature. I just love having the birds around and listening to nature. So anything outside. But again, it's outside. I love to walk, but I love just to sit.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do love to walk, but I also just, yeah, sitting and just listening. And there's
Yeah,
some
and
great places
thinking.
around Nashville to do that, which is
Yeah. My
amazing.
old backyard was amazing. I had all these trees, and I miss that in the house I'm in. I
Oh,
have trees, but they're just set back further. Where
mm-hmm.
in my old house, I'd walk outside, and it was like I was enveloped with trees and birds. I had like 5 bird feeders.
Oh,
I
wow.
just felt like I was sitting in heaven. And people would come
Yeah.
over and go, "It's like heaven back here." I'm like, I know. We got angels in the backyard.
Oh,
Like that's how it felt to me. It was a very spiritual place. And so for me, I'm very, very spiritual, and sitting in nature like that is just, I feel very connected to
yeah.
something again greater than me. So I love it. That's
Yeah.
nature does that for me.
Where is your old house? Is it here and you just
Yeah, it's
moved?
right around the corner.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just it's
So you just
point
moved
0.8
to a new
miles
house.
from this house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, so I just it's yeah, so it's right around the corner. It was here in Nashville.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Nashville, what is your favorite Nashville restaurant? Do you have one?
Hmm. Nashville's known for like phenomenal
I mean,
restaurants.
we're getting some like all the time, and they're
I
just all
know.
kinds like just some great Vietnamese. And I've discovered um, the like Korean tacos and
Oh,
Korean
wow.
bibimbap. That's like my latest craze.
Your new thing. I've never had maybe we should go out and try
We
that
need
together.
to, yeah, I need to take you. I thought you had been. I'm gonna have to take you, yeah, to
No,
my
I'm
favorite
open to
restaurant.
trying new things. I don't know. There's so many. I love Dells. I love Moto. I've been there quite a few times.
Moto, I don't know about that one. What
Mo
kind of
Oh,
food
it's
is that?
so good. Moto is an Italian, but not traditional Italian. Like they have, I think, one dish of spaghetti and meatballs, but
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not like a cafe Nona, which, by the way, I love that. That's more like traditional Italian. Cafe Moto is down on M Street, down in Nashville, next to San Anejo's, the Mexican. It's a higher end Italian, and it's got like my favorite thing is called blueberry lasagna. So it's got
Ooh,
blueberry balsamic glaze over a lasagna with all kinds of mushrooms as layers. It's phenomenal. And
that
people go, "Ew,
sounds
that sounds gross." And then they
that
try it and
sounds
they go, "This is
delicious.
like the best thing ever." I'm like, but I'd have to say right now it's Moto, but we have some chains that just went in. I love J.
Yeah,
Alexander. You never get that wrong, but
right.
Del Frisco's is really good too.
Yeah, so you've been to the new one? Yeah, Del Frisco Grill.
Go out. My husband and I like to try new restaurants, and we go
Mm-hmm.
out all the time to eat.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. We tried the Mexican one, the new chain that went in
Oh yeah,
our
my son works
neighborhood.
there. Blake works there.
He does.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll have to check it
Julio.
out. Yeah, if I
Yeah,
see him. Yeah.
that's good too.
Oh, that might have been who my son was talking to when we went in. I don't know, but
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
paying attention. I was
All
just
of
trying to get a
Brentwood
table.
works. I think all of Brentwood works at Julio's. All
Yeah,
those Brentwood high school
it's so
kids.
busy. It was so busy. So
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and I did try Holler and Dash,
Oh
just
yeah.
down the road. So that was yummy.
Oh good.
Yeah. So those are mine. Yeah, those are mine. So are you a reader? Do you like to read?
Like, I do. I'm like I you know what? I love to learn,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
obviously. So yeah, I do. I listen and I read and I do books on tape too.
Yeah, I love books on tape. Yeah, I
Hmm.
imagine because I do with my life coaching, I do a lot of assessments. So I imagine that you are a learner is probably one of your big
I do.
strengths that you
I
love.
do. I
Yeah.
love to learn. I love to teach. Those are my two favorite things. But yeah,
Hmm.
for sure. I read a few months ago when it was really hot because like 5 clients kept coming and going, "Have you read this? Have you read this? Have you read this?" What the heck was it? Oh, Love Warrior, that Glennon Melton.
Oh yeah.
That was great. Then of course the whole fallout with what happened. Then some people didn't like her anymore after she came out of the closet. But
Yeah.
when reading the book, I didn't know that when I read the book, what I loved most about that book is that her journey was all about, like, I related it to living in the adult chair because she was trying so hard to find her true self. I
Yes.
really admired her journey. I related to a lot of her journey. I loved her process, and I loved that she was vulnerable enough to put it out in the whole world. So I
Yeah,
loved that book. But
she
now yeah, she was great. I mean, I really like her, how she puts herself out there in that way. It's very scary to do.
mhm.
And okay, now I'm into Joe Dispenza, which I've known him for years, but he's got the Placebo. I can't remember the whole name of the book. The Placebo. I love Joe. And
I'll have to check that one out. I don't know. I've never heard of him.
oh
The
yeah, he's
placebo.
a new thought leader. He was like in the Secret. He's a neuroscientist. He proves
Oh.
he had
Mhm.
a I think it was a severed spine,
Oh, wow.
and he was told he'd never walk again. He went to a few doctors, and he with his mind, it's the power of the mind, which I absolutely adore. That's one of my things I do is
Mhm.
work with the mind a lot. And he recovered in 6 weeks. He had recovered and refused his spine just by daily visualizations and working with it all day. I mean, he
Whoa.
really had to work hard at it. But yeah, so his story was a miracle, but he just worked and worked. So he teaches, he's got many books, and I love listening to him on tape. Or not on tape. We don't have tapes anymore. Books
We
on
have
tape or
books,
books on
book,
what is it on? Books,
audiobooks.
audio books. Excuse me.
Yeah.
See how old I am?
Excuse me. Yeah, no, I'm there with you.
Most people that like don't even know what books on tape are.
I don't even know if let's see, did I have, it went from books on tape to and you had it was like a big case of them, and they all had
Yes.
like little slots, and it was like a big, like a notebook, and you had it on your, carried it in your car and popped in one tape, one side, then the other side. I'm going to educate everybody here. One side, then the other side. Then we went to CDs.
Right.
Then you carried a smaller case and popped in a CD. When that was over, that was just one side. So when that was over, then you popped in the next one, like CD number 2,
Right.
end of CD number 1. Well, then, I don't know if you got into these, but our library, our public library here in Nashville had these, what were they called? Playaways, where it's like this tiny, like MP3 player, and it just has that book on it.
Oh
That
yeah,
audio
those little
book.
tiny chip things you put inside the computer.
No, it was just a little piece of just a small MP3 player, and you just stick in your earbuds and your earphones,
Oh
and
no,
you just
never heard of that.
listened to it, and it's just kind of a stop and start. I think you could rewind. I'm trying to remember what it looked like. I think you could rewind it and fast forward, but it was just a really small little device. Well, now, I just download mine on there's Overdrive, there's Hoopla. I use
Wow.
Hoopla a lot, and it's all connected to my library. And then you can just if
You're
there
speaking a foreign language to me.
the library, the public library. I love my public library. And we have one of the best libraries in the state, so you ought to check it out. But all you have to do is just get a library card, and then you can look online for a book, and if it's on tape, then you can just request it, and they have audio, and then you just download it on when it comes in. It's kind of like it's available now, so you just
Oh,
download it,
that's awesome. I'll
and
have to
then I
check it
listen to
out.
it.
I will check it out,
So that's
honestly.
how I listen to my audiobooks.
I like it.
So it's all
I
online
like it.
now. I just walked you through how many decades, like maybe a decade or two.
Or
Yeah. So, well, thanks so much for joining me on Rising Stories. I had a blast listening to
thank
you
you.
and talking about all the different things you're involved in. And they can find you at the Adult Chair on
Hmm.
iTunes and Stitcher and everywhere else anywhere you can get a podcast, you're there. So
Yes, I am.
yeah. And
Yep.
are you on? How long have you been podcasting? I meant to ask you that.
Oh gosh, 3 years
3
maybe?
years? Okay. Oh,
I
good.
think 3 years.
Wow.
I think so. I think I started I don't remember, 14, 13, 14
Yeah.
maybe.
That's
I
awesome.
don't really remember. I think it's been 3 years. I honestly don't recall. Somewhere around there. At least 2 years, maybe 3, 4, somewhere around there.
Well, it's been a while, so you're a veteran already.
Yes,
So
I guess
yeah,
so.
that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for coming on, and I'm sure I'll post all the information so they can get a hold of you. But I appreciate you joining me, and
Well, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
we'll do some more collaborating later.
That sounds good at
Yeah.
the Korean restaurant.
That's right. We'll definitely do that. Definitely.
Perfect.
Thanks, Michelle. I'm so glad that she talked about how some people may look normal on the outside, but on the inside may have sadness and feel anxious. And I liked when she talked about the chair model of how living chin down was the child and living chin up was the adult. And I am so downloading that yoga app. Everyone has 15 minutes, right? I can't wait. I'm going to do that. If you heard something on the show that you wanted to jot down but couldn't, no worries, because all the information about this show will be in the show notes at CorrineSandifer.com under Rising Stories Podcast. If you know of someone who you think I should interview, please contact me by sending an email to info@CorrineSandifer.com. Thanks so much for listening, and keep rising in your own story.